Okay, we're going to start this one by paraphrasing a statement made by Mr. Cat Williams early in the year. It's God's side and it's the other side, and we don't care nothing about the other side. All of these deviants will all have problems in 2024, and it doesn't matter who you are. All lies will be exposed. That's all. Now, my interpretation of that statement is simply, does that mean that everybody is guilty of what they are accused of? No. But does it set the table for, and this is something that has been a theme for this year, for people to receive the energy that they may have given out towards others to achieve the positions and the success, quote unquote, success that they have had in their lives and careers? It seems that that's what's happening, in my opinion. And Jay-Z is just another one on the list who now faces a return of energy, in my opinion. And we're going to discuss why that is. Let's get into it. All right. Let's get right into it. This might be a long one because there's like sections of this that I'm going to cover. And there's a lot of reading to be done here because this has been going on behind the scenes for a few months now, of course. So let's start with 50 Cent. Let's start with 50 Cent. Let's start on a lighter note, right? But also 50 has some very interesting and important information, I think, as far as Jay-Z's character is concerned. Now, let me start off this. I don't think Jay-Z is as bad as he is being alleged to be, but I don't know. Okay, if you would have asked me this about Diddy before Cassie filed a case against him last year, I would have doubted it was this extreme. So that's just the nature of things, right? We don't know exactly what goes on behind the scenes. We don't know these people. They appear to be one way, and it can turn out that they are completely a different way. But here, let's start with the jokes. Let's keep it lighthearted. 50 Cent. When the Diddy situation first broke, 50 tweeted this: Jay in hibernation. He ain't coming outside till this ish with Puff blow over. No brunch, no lunch, no dinner, LOL. I'm all you got. I'm outside. Right? So 50 was having fun with the situation, but at the same time, what he's saying is kind of serious, right? It should be taken seriously because if this had no truth to it and I'm Jay-Z, I'm responding to it right away. That's me. That doesn't mean that Jay-Z not responding to it did the wrong thing. But to me, I'm like, I'm not in hibernation. I don't have to be in hibernation. I have nothing to do with what's going on with Diddy. But we'll discuss why I think Jay-Z maybe does have something to do with what's going on with Diddy. And it doesn't have to do with the more salacious allegations against Diddy. However, this filing of lawsuit and case by Tony Buzbee that we'll get into, it's a rough one. But let's continue with 50 having fun at Jay-Z's expense, but also just pointing out some things, right? So last night he made a post when this case broke, okay? He says, okay, I don't know what's going on, but are we still gonna have the Super Bowl? Just asking for a friend, right? And I've done videos on this. Those videos will all be linked at the end of this video. I've done videos about the Super Bowl. I've done videos about Jay-Z. I've done videos about Diddy, Jay-Z, and Drake and the characteristics that they do share. So now we move on to an interview where Cameron, another person who has some previous business dealings with Jay-Z that didn't go well between the two. They don't necessarily have a beef with each other, but they don't necessarily get along either, right? And I think it has to do again with some of the business practices of Jay-Z and some of his character, what can be seen as character issues or character flaws. So this is 50 discussing Jay-Z trying to get him blocked from performing with Dr. Dre at the Super Bowl halftime show that featured Dr. Dre and the artists that he produced. Let's go.
Cool. Right. And then when the guys that are like the really rich guys, the owners, right, when they keep seeing you around other guys that are the equivalent, right, they look and go, bring me that. That's cool. Mm-hmm. So they want to be around me too because they keep seeing me with the other guys that
the right people, right?
Like in the right circles, and then it starts to open up. Like now, it's like 11 professional sports teams,
right?
And then it's ill because when the NFL has no issues, things like that. This is why I was saying I knew what boy was doing, right, with the Super Bowl, because he was doing like shit, like he was doing some wild shit, because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me, and I'm like, well, what's the issue? Why don't I have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they had an issue with my performance. Right. Makes no sense.
So I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says, oh boy, for the audience to know, talking about Jay-Z, this was discussed before. Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened,
possibly. Not even threatened. I think it's just, when you take the competition from, like, our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you're still competing. It just don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? What's the goal?
So shout out to Cam, shout out to 50, shout out to May, shout out to Stat Baby, the Come and Talk to Me channel. Check it out. Everything they got going on over there. It is what it is. Sports Network, etc. Now, this is the problem that Jay-Z faces, in my opinion. He has done a lot of underhanded things in business that is proven, and then underhanded is an opinion. Let me just say that as far as the business tactics he has been alleged to use repeatedly in business, and like 50 said, in being competitive. That's a problem because Jay-Z has a lot of fractured relationships. If we go through it, Dame Dash, fractured. Now, let's start at the beginning. I'm sorry. Jazzo, fractured. Reconciled, but fractured. DeHaven, one of his friends that he grew up with, quote unquote, hustling in the street, fractured. Dame Dash, fractured. Kanye West, fractured. Drake, fractured. The list goes on. So this doesn't help when things like this and your character comes into question. These things don't help you because now some of these people, or a lot of these people, have big platforms, and now in the court of public opinion, you're going to be looked at in a certain way. And jurors for cases come from the public. And sometimes when you're a celebrity, it's going to be very hard to find people who don't have knowledge of some of these situations where that you're not put in the best light, okay, and your character is in question. Now, all of this can lead to an opportunity to accuse you of a lot of things. Okay, so no matter what happens, and no matter what is actually true, you're going to take a hit. All right, because you have all these issues, right? And I'm going to get into the case and what was filed. People are going to kind of put you on the negative side of the judgment, right? Before any real facts are presented. And this is why doing right by people is important. This is why it's very important, because Jay-Z doesn't have to be involved in anything having to do with essaying somebody or dealing with underage females. He doesn't have to factually be involved in any of that. But there's a lot of people who just have an axe to grind with you because of different things that are unrelated to that as far as your business practices in the music industry. Now, to quote Jay-Z, show them how to move in a room full of vultures. Well, the easiest way to do that is to actually wear a vulture costume or be a vulture yourself. That's the easiest way to move in a room full of vultures. So sometimes we have to think about what we say as well, and what we put forward and what we present when you are a public figure. So let's get into Tony Buzbee and the case and what he alleges. What the client he represents alleges. Let me say it all the way right. Okay. We're going to start with this statement by Tony Buzbee, the lawyer, a few months ago, right? He says, I've been sued in Los Angeles in a last-ditch attempt to stop me from revealing names in public lawsuits. It won't work. The irony. The suit against me was filed by a powerful John Doe. Here's a full statement. We won't allow the powerful and the high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence SA survivors. It has been reported that a lawsuit has been filed against my firm claiming extortion. The lawyers that filed it also immediately called TMZ in an apparent effort to silence those who allege SA. Here's the deal. The case filed against my firm is not only without legal merit, it is laughable. Here's why. On behalf of 2 clients who allege SA, we sent a standard demand letter to a New York lawyer that now represents an alleged perpetrator and potential defendant. The letters were sent seeking a confidential mediation in lieu of filing a lawsuit. No amount of money was included in the demand letters. No threats were made. The demand letters sent are no different than the ones routinely sent by lawyers across the country in all types of cases. It is obvious that the frivolous lawsuit filed against my firm is an aggressive attempt to intimidate or silence me and ultimately my clients. That effort is a gross miscalculation. I am a U.S. Marine. I won't be silenced or intimidated, neither will my clients. Since our professional efforts at resolution obviously have failed, we will instead disclose the demand letters we sent at the time we filed suit. Abuse of the legal system unfortunately runs rampant. The lawsuit filed against my firm is a prime example of that. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. I have confidence with full public disclosure, all of this will sort itself out. Tony Buzbee, Esquire, more than likely, right? He's a lawyer. So now we get into the lawsuit being filed, okay? And Jay-Z's response to the lawsuit being filed. Now, the lawsuit alleges that Jay-Z participated in, and I'm gonna use a different terminology here, extreme misconduct of a physical nature with a very underaged female, 13 years old to be exact. And this happened along with Diddy and the presence of another unnamed celebrity female who I'm sure is still probably fighting to keep her name out of this. And we'll see where that goes in 2025. But Jay-Z released a statement that was a proper response to that lawsuit. He says, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny, in all caps. Okay, these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. That is important. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to such a deplorable to be such a deplorable human being, Mr. Buzbee, but I promise you I have seen your kind many times over. I am more than prepared to deal with your type. Now, you claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor, and you have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and then we have to explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand the inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and the human spirit. Now, I'm paraphrasing some of this because it's not written all the way right. But my heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. Shots fired. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. True. We have very strict codes of honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists and fake physics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. Now, since I'm in reading mode, let me just read Tony Buzbee's response to that. Okay, he posted on his X account regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients. Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed a frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim and that the victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I am very proud of her resolve. As far as the allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not in the media. So this is all very strategic on both sides, right? Because in Jay-Z's statement, he basically, especially at the end of the statement, was not only appealing to the court of public opinion, right? But he also was stating some facts about if this is erroneous. You know, if this is erroneous, this is a terrible thing to try to do to somebody. But again, like I said, when you have a history of shady business practices, the court of public opinion is not where you want to go, and a lawyer would know that. And Tony Buzbee does have some shady things in his history as far as litigation as well, right? As far as cases he's presided over. But this is what lawyers do. This is why lawyers have a bad reputation. For the kids out there, when you hear about lawyers having a bad reputation, lawyers try to win cases. And lawyers don't always defend people who are telling the truth. So if you're trying to win a case and a person not telling the truth, what are you doing? You're defending a lie. And that can have terrible ramifications on people's lives where they've done nothing wrong or they've done something wrong and they either don't pay the penalty or they go away scot-free or they pay a penalty and they haven't done anything wrong. You know, and this leads to the character of the person who is the lawyer. This has nothing to do with the legal profession as a whole, right? This has to do with individuals being what individuals and who individuals are. But going back to the Jay-Z thing and why this case, if untrue, would be filed against him. And I covered this in the video I did with comparing him, Diddy, and Drake, right? You know, and people are dragging Foxy Brown up. Foxy Brown was of age when her and Jay-Z were working together. Now, I pointed out when the song that they did together was recorded, because there's no real concrete history of them ever having a relationship. But when the song that they did was recorded, Foxy Brown was a teenager. And the song is not something a teenager would want to sing. I covered that in that video. Just go check that video. I'm not going to rehash everything. But Foxy Brown has categorically denied that there has been any wrongdoing of Jay-Z towards her. Now, again, I also talked about the Aaliyah situation. The optics of the Aaliyah situation looks bad because you did 2 albums with R. Kelly. And R. Kelly and Aaliyah's history, if you don't know, just Google it. It is well documented. So it doesn't make you look like a high character person. Let's just be honest. And when people try to use the excuse or the reason that, well, the young lady knew what she was doing or she was doing it of her own consent, the issue with the case filing is the age. See, because a person of that age can't legally give their consent to you. And that's the issue. And those of us that are really grown and serious about it, even if the person, let's say they're 18, 19, 20, and you're 30, we're going to see it as you're taking advantage of this person. You can't wait. You can't find somebody who's 25. Shout out to Joe Budden again. He said this on his show, I think the older show with the previous cast. You know, find somebody who's like 24, 25. What is with this always these young girls that are either have a teen in their age or they're just out of the teens. They barely have graduated college, you know, would be qualified to graduate college. What is that? That's predatory. Period. I don't care. You can give me 1,000 excuses. You can wait until the person is of age and their brain is fully developed to put them into grown people's business. And I mean this from just a record industry situation. Not even getting into you guys involving these kids in grown people's parties and grown people's activities, and you 10, 15 years older than this person. Why? Like, that's predatory, period. You don't have to be a reader of PDF files for that to be wrong. All right, that's wrong too. Shout out to Paperwork Poppy. You know, as a grown man, Jay-Z, I'm sorry, you have no business partying or recording salacious records with kids. That's just how that looks, bro. That looks crazy. Period. Point blank. I'm close to Foxy Brown's age. So at the time that record was out, I didn't know that she's in school like me, right? I'm thinking this is a grown lady here. Older than me for sure. And I didn't know Jay-Z was pushing 30 at the time. So also the videos that he started to do for the Blueprint 3 album and the Magna Carta Holy Grail album, especially the Picasso Baby video with this lady here, Marina Abramovich is her name. She's into some different type of just weird stuff, man. You know, eating food off of people and making cakes made that look like people and eating the cake and the cake got red. But like, what is all this? Just witchcraft and all this kind of stuff. Like, when you attach yourself to these things, and I'm using this as an example for us moving forward to be smarter when we get in these positions, and people put you in a position where later on these optics and this behavior can be taken and used to take you down. Okay, there's nothing hip hop, there's nothing us, there's nothing about our culture that has anything to do with this lady that calls herself a witch and an artist and is into all of this weird, allegedly sadistic, freaky stuff. Like nah. So it makes it look like you are participating in things that's just not something any of us should be participating in. All right, the iconography for the on to the next one video, right, and the visuals for that. What is that about? See, so when you wonder why a person's name is attached to heinous things, quit letting people talk you into making your video look crazy, putting things in your songs that's crazy if you don't know what it's about and if you're not participating in those things, right? So really there's no excuse either way for the Jay-Z fans, because his fan base is strong, and I know y'all coming and y'all gonna be in the comments, and hopefully you watch the video to this length. I'm not saying that he's guilty of any of this stuff. I really don't think. I hope that he's not. I'm not even gonna say I don't think. I don't know, and I'm not gonna act like I know, because niggas is wilding out here. So it doesn't look good, and you have to be honest. Your boy, if this is your boy, been on bull for a long time, all kind of nonsense. All right, again, just as far as shady business practices. All right, the 50 Cent thing, that's crazy. I don't care what you, like 50 Cent said. What are you still competing for? What is that about? What is the problem? Are you this much of a hater? It's funny how Diddy and Jay-Z were the two of the biggest people crying about haters, and they appear to be two of the biggest haters that we've ever had in the culture with their business practices and trying to suppress things and all the nonsense and all of this young girl activity. What is that about? It's a self-confidence issue. I can tell you what it's about. It's a mental issue that you have, that you can't value a young person's life and want to see them have the opportunity to live their life and try to develop who they're going to be in this world without a bunch of people trying to take advantage of them. That's just what it is. I mean, so we'll see where this goes. Like I said, the buzbee is not the most credible lawyer to come at. This is not Diddy. This is not the Diddy situation. Okay, this is not a federal case. This is not law enforcement. This is a lawyer representing some clients, a lawyer who does not have the best history, but also does have a pretty good history of winning. He is a very successful lawyer. He's good at what he does. Now, the question comes into play, as Jay-Z stated, is what he does honorable in any way? And we're going to see. We're going to see as Jay-Z and his team defend him against this. We're going to see if there's any real proof or any tapes or anything like that. Again, the internet is going to run wild with false tapes and things. This is going to play out, and I think the truth is going to land somewhere in the middle, but more towards Jay-Z's side. I don't think that what he's accused of is probably true, but I do think, and I mentioned this earlier, let me get to it now. The Diddy case, I think that Jay-Z's tied to the Diddy case has to do with money and investments. I don't think it has to do with, Diddy is charged with a lot. You know, everybody's kind of zeroing in on the abuse, but racketeering and things like that also, and there's drugs involved, there's weapons involved. That has to do with investing in money as well. And sometimes people use money to ship certain things to certain places. And sometimes it takes a lot of money. Sometimes it's a network of that happening, and that, you know, the party favors and things like that. If your money is tied to that, then you have broken the law. And in my opinion, that is where that could be a problem for Jay-Z, and why he has been quiet since the Diddy thing has been in the public eye. You know, because if you invested money with somebody and you may not have known what they've done with the money, there's a lot of ways that can go, and you still end up in a bad spot. So that's it, man. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Share the video, tell a friend and tell a friend. We'll see where this goes. This is just the beginning of this situation. We'll see where it goes, man. Thank y'all for watching as always. We out.